Welcome to another Soccer Down Here 1v1. Time to catch up with the president of the Gulf Coast Premier League, Jeremy Poklemba, about everything going on with the GCPL and NISA. Jeremy, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, so how did this actually come to fruition, this relationship? How much talk was there, and how far did it go back before everything was dotted and crossed?
Well, there was a little precursor that, I think Jonathan Kalura from Bug Eaters kind of put maybe a little bird in the ear of NISA on previous talks, and then when they came around, I guess it was March, April, looking for or interested in some of our teams to participate in the NISA tournament, talks kind of just took off from there. We got to know each other a little bit better, and Jonathan Rednauer, our Vice President of Operations, started talking with Prutch, and more or less we just figured that our ideas aligned to a certain degree, and as they were talking about trying to connect the dots between the different levels of soccer in America, it kind of just came to be that maybe we could come up with some sort of strategic partnership to kind of explore it further. And so a couple months ago we started, and it kind of just came to a head recently here.
What was it like to have teams participate in their cup format that just recently concluded?
I mean, it's always exciting. Obviously, U.S. Open Cup was the one beforehand. It was kind of the avenue that all of our teams were trying to reach for. It used to be a pathway through USASA, the regional championships, and that kind of faded away, and so it became just more of our, the thing to do was to be in the U.S. Open Cup when NISA came calling, asked for two teams, and it really was nice to see those teams step up and compete. And like we know, I think everybody's got the skill level. It's just about getting the opportunities, and so it was wonderful to get the opportunity for our teams to kind of showcase what they're about.
And I know that in talking with NISA Commissioner John Prutch on previous 1v1s here at the network, it was a bit of a scouting mission too, because NISA as an entity, over time, they're looking to add franchises and add cities and continue to grow their footprint. And so, having the teams from the GCPL involved also opens up another section of the geography for them should they wish to come down that road. Yeah,
I think it's a no-brainer as far as trying to expand from, they're really west to east, and it helps out to be in the center and the south, of course. And the south is a hotbed of good soccer talent. So.
What's it been like to see the GCPL grow and evolve to where it is now?
It's been a wild ride. It's one of those things where years ago, Jonathan Rednauer and I crossed paths for high school soccer and kind of trying to figure out interesting ways that we could, modify competitions. And, of course, that doesn't really work in high school because of classifications based on school size, etc. And so it's one of those things that as I became more involved in the state association side, I knew that was the guy to pick his brain. He always had the league ideas, and luckily we were able to kind of make it work. We both had ends with local adult leagues. We wanted to kind of bridge the gap and make sure we were competing at a high level in Louisiana, and then gradually just expanded. People liked the format, like we were trying to do, and kind of connect the youth and adult soccer in our area. And it's just gradually expanded from Louisiana to Mississippi to Alabama, Florida, and Texas now.
I was going to say, I mean, you're working your way back and forth along the corridor there, and to see things pop up in Central Texas, to see the footprint in Louisiana grow, to see things like Port City and Tallahassee come along. If I had this conversation with you a handful of years ago, could you have foreseen or imagined the league going to where it is right now?
I mean, you always hope. You have those, way back when I was in my younger days, you played a little bit in Holland, and you saw the connection of, your 7th division team, might be 6th next year, and 5th and 4th. And there was a way. And so here there was kind of an interesting idea of being able to provide a path for youth people aging out of the system, giving them somewhere to play and somehow continue their journey, and just give them something to kind of hope for. It's something you'll look forward to on the weekends. Everybody's working. You want something to do still. And so it's been great to see it. Did I think it was going to get this big or this far? Not really, but we got some good minds working together that all have different strengths, and it's just it's been magical. You find the right people and connect the dots between different geographies, and you're all trying to do the same thing,
For those who haven't had the chance to follow along with the GCPL, who are some of those folks that the casual fan, not just in the Southeast, but across the sport that's involved in the sport. I guess, who are some of the highlights that folks can lock into and pay attention to along the ride that you guys are going?
You're talking about administratively or player-wise or team-wise?
Team-wise in the footprint because of all of the growth that's happened over the last handful of years.
Well, Crescent City Football Club is, Jonathan Redenauer's new baby in New Orleans, and of course Motagua was a big-time team that's kind of faded away a little bit, kind of aged out. So I think Crescent City's one that's there. Of course, my team has been Pool Boys, but that's not the namesake that everybody's going to be turning heads for. We're the smallest market team, but I think the real nice ones, Cajun Soccer Club in Lafayette, really has a strong youth program, and it's kind of one of those ones that really believes in the pathway for their players to be able to have from youth to adult, and hopefully that next level. Also, there's another Louisiana crew team in Lafayette doing good things. GAFA from Jackson, you just saw them in the NISA tournament winning the Central Plains Championship. I think they're all got something a little bit different, a little bit special. On the right day, I really think anybody competes, so it's kind of hard to pin down which ones are the rising stars or which ones are the ones that are always going to be at the top. It's kind of it fluctuates, I think, from year to year.
When it comes to the growth of the GCPL, I guess this is the crystal ball question. When you look at the next handful of years, how would you like to see the GCPL continue to grow and evolve and take those next steps in the soccer hotbed that is the Southeast?
Well, I think that our model has been a highly competitive, regionalized, soccer, right? That's our thing. And so I don't know that we necessarily need to keep expanding the footprint, but we need to get other amateur leagues that are in other regions to kind of replicate the same idea and not all try to be, in my estimation, to be the national league, right? We don't necessarily need a national league that costs an arm and a leg to be able to play. We need to have another replication of this. Hopefully Texas is the next big hotbed where we can really get a Texas Premier League. They have so many teams and so much of a geographical footprint, they could be off on their own almost. And so I think the idea is this: people can see this works, and they get them to kind of try to do the same thing, and hopefully we can all join forces, ideally under NISA, right? And then we have this national amateur association that really capitalizes on the regional rivalries, right? Those are the huge things. You have Port City and Mobile, you have New Orleans and Lafayette, you have 2 teams in Lafayette even, Shreveport teams. I just think there's something about that, right? It's the culture. That's what really kind of brings people together and gets fans out in the game and makes it exciting. And hopefully we can continue to do that at a lower level, and then give those teams that shine and thrive, and those players that shine and thrive, an opportunity to move on, right, and show their stuff at the next level.
How difficult has it been for the GCPL? I know that summer season for 2020 had to be canceled because of COVID-19. How difficult has it been to maintain communication outside of the activity with NISA and all that? How difficult has it been for the league in the era of COVID-19?
Of course it's difficult. You want to play, and you're disappointed that you're not able to. But I think forward-thinking people look at it as an opportunity to kind of keep your bank account, kind of thriving, and make sure that you'll be able to invest in your product for the coming season. Hopefully we can put something on, I think, in the fall is a good idea, especially with the college seasons being affected. I think there's going to be players looking for something to do, and we have a fair amount of teams looking for something to do. And so I think it wasn't great, but I don't think that we lost anything. It gave us opportunity to kind of develop this relationship with NISA maybe more than we would have if we were going to be busy in our season. And so I think you got to be positive, and it gave an opportunity for us to kind of retool and prepare for the next iteration.
All right, time for the blatant plug section of the interview here for the 1v1. For everybody that would like to keep up with everything going on in the GCPL as the growth continues there in your footprint, how do folks keep an eye, and how do they stay engaged with the league as it continues to grow?
Well, GCPLsoccer.com right now, we kind of have a one-page kind of anybody that's interested in trying to either join what we have or replicate it somewhere else, provide us the information. We're obviously on social media as well. We got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We try to stay as involved as possible and keep everything up to date. So we're pretty accessible. Anywhere you can find us, find us.
GCPL President Jeremy Poklemba pulling back the curtain a little bit on the relationship with NISA, hanging out with us here for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. Congrats on the new relationship with NISA, and congrats on the participation is the word I'm looking for the participation in the NISA Independent Cup with GAFA FC and Louisiana Crew. Thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. Continued success and growth, Jeremy. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.